Right, I thought today that I would show you how to do a tonal card, and it's something that I use on the online watercolour course. It's ideal for. I'll just get this. So this is the online watercolour course, and just take it out of this folder. So this is what you get actually when you enrol onto it. And we've got project 1, which is a tonal painting, and it's using mainly cobalt blue. And I thought I'd do a little tonal card so you could see how it could help with the don't water picture. And you've also got Bleetan as well, which is another one which you can use with the tonal. And the tonal cards are these. It's just a little idea I had a few years ago to help me when I'm painting the watercolours. And because sometimes with watercolours I find that the tonal strengths aren't strong enough. And because of this I thought, oh, I'll have a little go at doing this tonal card. So a tonal card, this is actually just ultramarine and permanent rose. Number 1 is just the white paper. And then you've got to the very far, which is the very dark with barely any water. And then you add a little bit of water, a little bit more water, keep adding water. And by the time you get to here, this one, which is number 2, you actually nearly use the water, which is in the pot, the water pot, to get this colour. And it's amazing how much water you need to get a very pale tone. So I sometimes used to struggle with painting very pale and very dark, and mostly my watercolour paintings were amongst these little colours, and it didn't have enough drama. So I started doing these little tonal cards, and I've done a few different colours. This is a burnt sienna one, which would be an ideal one to use on the Bleetan picture. So this is your Bleetan, and how I would use it is we've got different tones, and we've got very pale tones in the water, which would be a pale tone, and I would be able to put it across to see how pale the tone was. So that is actually on that one. And then you could think, right, well, I need to bring this stronger. So, you know, this is quite a strong tone. Could be something onto there. You see, that tone is very nice and strong compared to the very pale, and it's having the variety in your paintings. So that tone stands out quite well against the, you know, some of the stones. Again, that's quite a dark tone against the very pale of the grasses. So you could use this to, and with the handy little hole, which you make with one of these things. And then you've got another picture, which is the after the snow. So this is another one which I used, this one, which is ultramarine and permanent rose, which I use an awful lot, ultramarine and permanent rose. And how it would work again is you would look at your pale tones, which, yep, that's a nice pale tone. Is this nice and dark against it? Which, yep, it's onto a nice dark. So it's not all the same tones. You see, you've got a lovely pale tone there. And yep, you're going to a nice stronger tone, which is probably that one. And then to the very stronger, which is, you get to possibly into this one. And sort of in the snow as well at the front. You want a few different tonal ranges when you come to painting this picture. And you've got a lovely pale tone there, which, yep, you can look on that, and it is a very similar shade. And then we want a bit more strength, so we want to get up to something like this or this, which, yep, that is definitely getting to that. So against these two, they work well together. So this is what it's all about, is light sometimes next to dark, and keeping this white of the paper. So I thought I'd show you very quickly how to make one, nice and easy. So I've got a piece of watercolour paper, a little bit of card. So watercolour paper is this, and I've just marked it off from 0 to 9. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this one first. So this is just up to 7 is this, so 8 tonal ranges. And just to keep it nice and tidy, I'll just put a little bit of masking tape along there so it keeps a nice edge. So, because it's a good little guide is this to use, you don't need to put your masking tape. So that's that. Right, and then I'm going to start with a very, very dark in here, and I'm going to do the cobalt blue. So really strong cobalt blue. It can even be stronger than that, wants to be. Barely, if you can see, barely any water and pure pigment. So pure pigment and a little bit of water is for that one. And then we just start to use a touch more water into the next one. And a touch more water again into the next one. I'm just slightly overlapped there. And then a little bit more water again. This one's going to, whoops, there's a bit more colour into that one, you see. It wants too much difference is that. That's a little bit smaller one, is that one. And a little bit more water. And again, I'm not using any more colour, I'm just using water. Water again into this one. Give my brush a good old wash. Plenty of water again. No, and I've picked up something else on there. So very pale, and the final colour again with some water, which you look and you think, do you know there's hardly any colour in that? And that is the final tone. Right, so we've got the white with just a tiny little bit, and we're building it up to get the strength of colours, the strength of tones. So while that dries, I'm just going to do another little one for you. And I'm going to do this one with 3 colours. So we're going to get a little bit of masking tape again, just to keep it nice and tidy. So this is for project 5, which is the Windermere, the red boat on, just short on there, it'll be all right. So it's this project. So you've got lots of different tonal values in this, very pale. Actually the sky is even paler, so it needs to be pale, then to a stronger, slightly stronger again, slightly stronger again, and again, to finally this nice dark. So you've got lots of different tonal values, and the tonal values will help to give the picture more depth, and it just makes it interesting instead of it looking very much the same sort of shades. So I'm going to do a tonal card for this little painting, and it's a good way just to try out mixing your colours. You know, we don't have to always paint this big picture. So I'm going to mix some ultramarine blue, which is the colours in Project 5. So some ultramarine blue. And I use tubes. So what I do is I get a tube of paint, something like this, and I squirt them into my palette. So I buy the palette empty, and then I use the tubes of paint and just put them exactly where I want them, so I can have whatever colours I want in my palette. And it's just the way that I enjoy working. I like the tubes of paint. I find them nice and strong. And you can get your brush in. You know, you're not a tiny little pan set, which if you're using a bigger brush, it can be a little bit awkward. So this is my little setup. And I start with the yellows, work through to the reds, some browns, and then I start with the cool blues. I've got a brightish green there, but the cool blues through to some reds and a few cadmium yellows. And that's how I do my painting. And then after each session, all I do is put the lid on, give him a clean maybe, which I just rinse them under a tap and then let them just dry, and then put the lid on, and then they're ready for next time. And then when I want to use them again, I just get a little water spray and just give him a little freshen up with water, or just pop them under the tap again and they're all ready to go. Right, so we want this colour again. So it's ultramarine and burnt sienna and a little bit of cadmium red. So I want to get it really dark to start. So I'm mixing loads of colour. So it's nearly black, barely any water, and that is the secret. So I haven't gone into the water. So I'm getting to the right hue. So the hue is the shade that it is, the colour that it is. So I just want to get this and then we're ready to go. Right, now we're ready. So this is the darkest. So that's the very darkest. Add a touch of water, just a touch. Then to the next one. Touch more water. To the next one. No, I think I just need a little bit more colour in there. It's just a bit too pale. I'll just put a bit more wash onto that. Touch more water. So they are useful, of these little, you know, if you're looking at a picture that you've painted and you think, is it, you know, is there something not right with it? Well, maybe it could be that your tonal range is just not strong enough. So by putting your little card across, and now I need to get some more water in here. And again. And finally. Now I could have even gone between these two. I think that just needs a touch paler. So I'm just taking out a little bit of that colour just to make them a little bit paler. And the final one. That's better. So you can see there's a definite graduation of colours through and on these. So I'm just going to give them a little dry, and then they're going to be ready to pop the little holes in. Right, so they're dry, and I'm just taking off the tape, and I only put the tape on just to keep it a little bit tidier, give me a nice edge. There we go, get rid of that. And then we just need to pop a hole in each one. Hopefully this will work. One. I could do this a little bit better. I think it's going to be okay. That's that one done. It's just, I'd like it in the middle. And if anybody knows how to use something in the middle, get that one right. Oh, that one's determined not to hold that one. There we go. Right, so we've got our little tonal cards, and we can use them. So I'm better at painting than I'm at putting holes in things. So our tonal card, here we are for the project number 5, and we can hold it against and think, yep, we're just on that pale tone, which is quite good. So the hole is ideal because then you can look through, you see, and see what tonal value you're on. Yep, that's getting up to there. Yep, matches into that one, number 6. That's onto this, number 8, which is ideal. Again, right down to there, which is the very darkest. So we've got a full range of tonal values, and this is the thing what I'm probably getting across, is to use the tonal range. You know, in the water, we've got the white of the paper is so important. And then we've got another pale, but we've also got some dark. You know, we've got this lovely dark, which is in the water. Also a little bit on the boat extras, them little sections. So again, we've got a lovely dark in there, but it's the dark next to the light which really works. So this is one of the ways to make your little tonal cards. And sorry for not getting the holes in the middle, but I think you can see what I'm getting at here. I will practice with my hole maker, but yeah, you can see how it really is a useful little gadget to use. And it's not just about painting, it's about, if you sort of, I find, if it makes sense sometimes, and I can figure it out, then I think I've got more confidence in painting. And that's what I want to put across. So yeah, there you go, you've got your pale tones in here. You've got a bit stronger one, which is there. Perfect. Right, I look forward to hearing what you think to this. And yeah, if you fancy doing the online course with the 6 projects, just get in touch, send me an email, and it's lakelandart@hotmail.co.uk, or you can see it on the website. It's on www.janeward.co.uk. And I look forward to hearing from you and hearing how you get on making your little tonal cards. Okay, speak to you soon.